For hockey fans, there's as many steps to ending the NHL lockout as assembling a cabinet from IKEA. This afternoon, the Players Association moved to the final page of the how-to manual. The two other outings, well, he lasted until the 7th inning, and that's where he's turned the ball over to the Rays bullpen. And we know the Rays have had their struggles when it comes to the bullpen. Not one player was looking forward to this conditioning test where they had to run 110-yard sprints. Bucks went out and made the big move. They acquired All-Pro Darrelle Revis from the Jets, trading away that first-round draft pick. What kind of impact do you see Revis making on this secondary? Says he does not believe a trade for Price will go down this evening. The Dodgers, the Mariners, and the Diamondbacks have all inquired for his services. We're standing just outside Bayfront Medical Center where Rays starting pitcher Alex Cobb is being kept overnight for observation after living through a pitcher's worst nightmare. The Red Sox have won 12 of 19 meetings against the Rays this season. Since we're in the playoffs, can you just throw away the regular season? We're just outside the Buccaneers locker room, and I got to say it's a little dejected tonight after their first dress rehearsal for the 2013 season. Not really going the way they wanted to against the reigning Super Bowl champs. Whichever team can force the other to dip into their bullpen first, well, they're likely to walk out of here a winner.
United by more than a number and a similar path. On back Florida country roads is where one NFL Hall of Famer's career began and another potential Hall of Famer's came to rest.
Jerome Brown put fear in football players.
The preeminent defensive tackle of his day, Jerome Brown was a charismatic quarterback crusher and an inspiration to Warren Sapp.
We're sitting in Jerome's room and Warren says, "Let me tell you something, little Brown. You know that Jerome, your brother, was my idol?" I said, "Really?" Then he says, "Do you know why I have 99? Because he was my idol."
Mirrored in their veracity on the field and their larger-than-life personas off of it, Sapp followed in Brown's footsteps from college to the pros.
He was one of the great people I have ever known. He had a smile that could light up a room, and he had one of the biggest hearts in the entire world.
The place closest to Jerome's heart? Brooksville, where he held free youth camps and peacefully broke up a KKK rally. Now, 2 decades after his tragic death at the age of 27, a community center and scholarships bearing his name continue to inspire.
Would do anything he could for him, for Brooksville, and we started the Jerome Brown Youth Foundation. We're keeping his name alive. We just want him to know about Jerome Brown and what he meant to this community.
This evening, when they unveiled the number 99 next to Warren Sapp's name, it easily could have been another number.
They put a number 99 up there. I think clearly, you know, with respect to Warren and everything, there'll be a part of my heart that knows that's kind of Jerome Brown.
Sapp followed a path laid out before him by Brown, and tonight, 2 friends will once again be reunited. Before they hit the ice, Lightning players have to get into game mode, even if they have to get out of their wheelchair first. You see, there are 2 Lightning teams skating at the Forum. There's these guys, and there's these guys and girls playing the game of sled hockey.
And you have some of these players that love the sport, but because of a physical disability, they can't play, you know, the way everyone else does. This gives them the opportunity to come out here and play hockey.
There's goals and checking. And even a star player. Declan Farmer is the Lightning's equivalent of Steven Stamkos, except Farmer also plays for the U.S. national team, and his sled takes him all over the world.
I'm going to Canada twice this year and South Korea this spring, so it's a sport. I mean, I would have probably never started without Lightning.
The program is solely funded by the Bolts, providing ice time and equipment.
To play the sport of sled hockey, you need some essentials, including sticks. These 2 have an edge to them so they can pick into the ice. Always have to have a helmet for safety. You have to have a sled, of course. And when you're playing here at the Forum, gotta have your Lightning jersey.
To them, we're disabled, but to us out here, we are not. We're just players.
Whether it's on skates or a sled, when players get into game mode, it's all about one thing: love for the game. Reporting from Tampa, Chris Fischer, 10 News.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome into 10 Sports Extra. The Seminoles are California dreaming of lifting the Crystal football in Pasadena, and the Lightning were looking to strike Oilers for their third straight W. But we kick things off tonight with the first touchdown of the Lovie Smith head coaching era for the Buccaneers. Smith and his family touching down in Tampa this afternoon, grandson in hand, getting a warm welcome by the Bucs Shelton Corals, who's now in the front office, and then Smith was whisked away to his new digs at One Buck Place. Checking out his new office overlooking the practice fields. Last time Lovie was a part of the Bucs, his office was at the old One Buck next to TIA. They finished off the tour with the new captain at Ray J. Tomorrow, it's back to One Buck, where Smith will formally be announced at 2 o'clock as the franchise's 10th head coach. 10 Sports' Bobby Lewis takes a look back at how the Bucs became Lovie-struck. Jeff Tedford is under contract to be the Bucs' new offensive coordinator. Like Lovie Smith, Tedford sat out last football season after 11 years as the head coach at Cal, while former Vikings head coach Leslie Frazier won't be out of work for long. He reportedly will be named the Pewter Reds defensive coordinator. He was a defensive assistant to Tony Dungy during the Super Bowl winning Colts in 2006. As far as special teams go, with the Kansas City Chiefs season over, Kevin O'Day is expected to become the Bucs special teams coordinator. O'Day was with the Bucs during the Dungy era as an offensive and defensive assistant from 1996 through 2001. Now ESPN is reporting Lovie Smith has some unconventional verbiage in his contract for a head coach. Even when the Bucs do announce a new general manager, which is anticipated to be Chiefs Director of Player Personnel Chris Ballard, Smith will have the final say-so on the 53-man roster. And we all thought Lovie was the Glazers' first choice as head coach, but CBS Sports' Jason Lockenfor reports the Glazers reached out to John Gruden to return as head coach, and in November, they pursued former Steelers head coach Bill Cowher. Both said thanks, but no thanks. To the teams actually playing playoff football, 49ers in frigid Green Bay, 6 degrees at kickoff. Pick it up in the fourth quarter. Packers trailing 13-10 on the 4th and 2. Aaron Rodgers pulling a Houdini to Randall Cobb. In for the first down. That would set up Big John Kuhn for the go-ahead touchdown, 17-13 Green Bay. Later in the quarter, 49ers answer Colin Kaepernick to Vernon Davis. 28 yards for the TD strike, 20-17 49ers, but this one would come down to a Phil Dawson field goal from 33 yards out. That's your game winner. San Fran's moving on, 23-20 the final. So here's how it shakes out in the NFC divisional round. The Saints will head to the noisy Northwest at Quest Field to face the Seahawks next Saturday at 4:35. Then Sunday, the 49ers travel to Carolina to take on Cam Newton and the Panthers at 1 o'clock. As seen earlier on 10 News, AFC wildcard showdown, Chargers and the Bengals, third quarter. Cincinnati up 10-7. Phillip Rivers to Jermaine Grisham. Full extension, 14-7. San Diego with the edge. Rivers only needed 128 yards passing in this one. That's because Andy Dalton was the best player on San Diego. The quarterback with 3 turnovers for the Bengals. This one in the fourth quarter with Cincy trailing by 10. And that would cost them because Ronnie Brown just picking him up and putting him down. Remember him? He was drafted just ahead of Cadillac Williams, Bucs fans, and he's still in the league. In for the score, 27-10 the final, and that's the way it ends. So here's a look at the AFC playoff picture. Tom Brady and the Patriots will host the Colts next Saturday night in New England at 8:15, and the Chargers will travel to the Mile High City to face the AFC's top seed, Peyton Manning and the Broncos, on Sunday at 4:35. You can catch both those games right here on 10 News. To the ice, not much has been able to stop Lightning netminder Ben Bishop, but he's been able to stop nearly everything coming his way, leading the NHL in save percentage and unbeaten in his last 11 games in the cage. But tonight in Edmonton, with the Lightning riding a 2-game winning streak, Bishop finally slowed down by injury. The Bolts are calling it an upper body injury. It happened here in the first period. He'll be reevaluated tomorrow in Winnipeg. Lightning down 3-1 until Victor Hedman lights the lamp, making it 3-2, pulling them within 1. Then later in the second period, Valtteri Filppula, his 16th of the season, knotting it up at 3s. But it would change in the third. Oilers bouncing back. Boyd Gordon getting the big rebound from Anders Limbach, and he's going to stuff it in the net. Bolts go down 5-3. Lightning's first loss on this 4-game road trip. You know him as the voice of the Bucs, but he's been doing play-by-play for the Seminoles much longer. Mean Gene Deckerhoff gives us a unique perspective into the BCS title game next. Could have been the $5 million per season or the chance to upgrade to a powerhouse university like Texas, but the Longhorns hooked Charlie Strong to be their head coach, agreeing to a 5-year deal with the former Louisville frontman and Florida Gators defensive coordinator. In 4 seasons with the Cardinals, Strong went 37-15 with 2 conference titles. For Al Golden, the grass wasn't greener at his alma mater, Penn State, preferring the green and orange of the Miami Hurricanes. The head coach announcing today he's staying put in Coral Gables. Yesterday, he interviewed for the Nittany Lions opening, but today he said in a statement he's flattered for the attention during the U's time of turmoil. He went on to say, "I'm also appreciative of just what we have here at UM, and I'm not a candidate for any other position." A side note here, Penn State still has 2 more years of bowl ineligibility and scholarship sanctions. Well, the Seminoles don't have golden hopes, but they're California dreaming in Pasadena. Florida State looking to have a party like it's 1999, the year they celebrated the national championship, as they'll tangle with some who call the team of destiny, Auburn, in the final BCS championship game. Both teams in the top 10 in the country in points per game. FSU the best, averaging 53. Whether it's a shootout or a defensive affair, they're just itching to go.
I said teams come and go, programs sustain the test of time.
Florida State, the 9-point favorites. Auburn going for the upset in their 2nd national championship in 4 years. The battle for it all in the Rose Bowl tomorrow night at 8:30. And before we go tonight, you know, Canadians can be batty about hockey. Well, what about a bat at a hockey game in Canada? That was the case last night in the Canadians and Senators game in Montreal. It's hard to understand how the announcers reacted. I haven't brushed up on my Rosetta Stone French edition quite yet. Big day tomorrow for the Buccaneers. The 10th head coach in franchise history being announced at 2 o'clock tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Lovie Smith is back in the house. Looking forward to seeing if he brings along his offensive coordinator, Jeff Tedford. Maybe a general manager shows up, potentially Chris Ballard. We'll let you know coming up on 10 News at 5 tomorrow afternoon. That's all the time we have tonight on 10 Sports Extra. We'll see you back here next Sunday, and make sure to wake up with the morning show starting at 5 a.m. For breaking news anytime, log on to WTSP.com.